On top of a breaking story in Lehigh Acres right now, where the sheriff is about to speak about what's going on any minute now and about why so many deputies are in different areas in Lehigh Acres right now. As soon as the sheriff begins to speak, we'll carry it live here. And we thank you for staying with us for local coverage at 6:30. I'm Patrick Nolan.
And I'm Shari Armstrong. Now, the Lee County Sheriff's Office tells Fox 4 deputies are responding to 5 scenes in Lehigh Acres. Now, the location we are about to show you is at Gerald Avenue North and 3rd Street West. If you're familiar with Lehigh Acres, that's right near the racetrack off of Lee Boulevard. If you take a look here, especially now, we know that this is a high traffic time for Lehigh. So, of course, we know that this is impacting traffic in the area as well. Now, on your screen right now, you're seeing a map of that location. It's right near that racetrack on right off of Gunnery Road in Lehigh Acres. And we're also keeping track of 4 other scenes at this time as we're waiting for the sheriff to speak.
Now, Shari, we know that when this initially happened and we started to cover it for you during our 5 o'clock newscast, the sheriff's office initially said that its deputies had shown up at 3 scenes, including a construction site. And that one caught our attention because we know there have been a number of thefts at construction sites, specifically in Lehigh Acres recently. It looks like the Lee County Sheriff is just getting ready to speak right now. As we promised you, we will bring it live as he begins his comments. We know that he arrived on the scene at the beginning of our newscast, and you saw that live image as he did so. He seemed to be consulting with some of his staff members who might have been briefing him on the information. As you might imagine, the big challenge here for the sheriff's office is to coordinate information when you have deputies at 5 different scenes. We know that Lehigh Acres has had its share of challenges, not just in recent weeks during the pandemic, but in recent years, really ever since the recession. We saw a lot of people dipping in and out of the challenges that go along with being in a sparsely populated area. A live look at the sheriff right now. He's got the microphones hooked up to him, and we appreciate your patience as our photographer finds his focus. We adjust our microphone and get ready for him to speak. Let's listen in.
Yes. Good evening. Thanks for being here. I'm Sheriff Carmine Marcino. I want to talk about the events that just transpired as to what you obviously see behind me. At approximately 3 p.m., we had a robbery, a home invasion robbery. Our suspects commit that robbery. All hands on deck. Our deputies go out. They immediately respond. K-9 responds. K-9 is actively working that robbery. Simultaneously, we have another robbery at a construction site that's very close by in proximity. Our K-9 is tracking our suspects at the same time, going to the second scene, unfolding simultaneously. As we are working the scene, both scenes, we get a call. See it, say it, make the call. A resident is now following the suspect vehicle. We immediately get that information and we begin to track and watch that suspect vehicle, at which time we go to stop the suspect vehicle and do a vehicle and traffic stop. Disregarding all form of life, they take off and there's a pursuit. They strike 2 vehicles, 2 innocent people that are in vehicles just nearby. They actually almost ram into a bus, a school bus. Obviously, we're not going to have anyone else get hurt. We immediately pit that vehicle. What a great job our detectives and our patrol officers did. As you see here, you see that? You know what that is? That's called a game changer. The great residents of this county, the residents of Lehigh Acres, deserve better. Okay? And what you see here is you try to commit a violent act in my county, okay? It's not going to happen. No matter what we have to do, we are going to win. The residents are going to be safe, and I'm not going to tolerate it. While searching the scene and controlling the scene, we also found a loaded .40 caliber gun. We got 4 different scenes unfolding at the same time. So the details that I have are limited, but I will tell you right now, we have 1 suspect in custody. We have 3 others in custody that we're working out the details to see exactly what their involvement is. We're also working 2 other scenes where the potential other suspects. So I'm giving you the information as fast as I can and making certain that you get that information to understand what this goes. There's 4 different scenes at once. I'm going to take some questions.
Any connection between any of the 4 scenes?
Right now, we believe it's all connected, okay? But we're trying to iron that out to the details as to exactly what's being done and what's said.
Sheriff, what's the history? Is there a history of any of the suspects?
So the male suspect we have in custody, he's an oxygen stealer, okay? Pile of trash, to be honest with you. He's got 43 or 45 arrests, and he's roaming the streets to commit more violent crime. Pistol whipping innocent victims at a construction site. That kind of behavior in my county, that deadly force behavior, gets you a job for the medical examiner and 6 feet under in a casket. He goes behind bars where he belongs. I'm done playing with people that think they're going to commit violent acts in my county. It's not happening. I serve the greatest residents in the country, and they will be safe, and we will have law and order. And those that do that, okay, those that want to pistol whip people, if you're lucky, you go to the Marcino Motel. Otherwise, we put you where you belong in a box.
Do you have an age range, Sheriff, of the people involved?
Right now, the one suspect we have in custody is 21 years old. The other, I'm not sure. The scenes are unfolding as we speak. But I need you to get the message out for me. I mean, listen, this unfolds, and my deputies, by the way, who dedicate their lives and risk their lives every single day, are on it immediately. Immediately. 4 scenes from the time we get that call, minutes after everybody's in custody. I'm cleaning this place up. It's a new day, and we're not going to tolerate it. Law and order prevails. We win. And let me tell you, I think this is the prime example. You want to commit a violent act? I'm telling you right now, if you're lucky, you go to prison.
Final questions?
You said this started as a home invasion, and then it went to other robberies at construction sites?
So it started as a home invasion robbery on 28th Street. In the near proximity, as we're working that robbery, K9 is tracking. My family members are out there tracking and trying to put the scene together. Another robbery occurs in the real close area where we have victims that are pistol whipped. So these scenes are unfolding simultaneously. And within minutes, this is the end result. You have suspects that have no regard for life. They ram into 2 other cars, innocent people that are just driving, and almost ram a school bus, okay? No regard for life? Well, guess what? We don't have one for theirs. They're where they belong.
Can you confirm that the other robbery was at 7-Eleven on Gunnery?
So it was not. It was one robbery was at 28th Street. Simultaneously, the construction site now, our civilian, see it, say it, make the call. This is why I need people to help us. See it, say it, make the call, calls us and says, hey, I have the robbery vehicle, and they're following it. We get that information. That's why 7-Eleven was put in. So that vehicle is being followed into 7-Eleven. We track, we identify, we go to stop. They're not stopped. It's game on. And I'll tell you this, disturbing, right outside that car is a .40 caliber gun. How do you have pages of arrests, you're pistol whipping people with a .40 caliber gun? Zero tolerance.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Sheriff, was there anyone home during the home invasion?
Yes, exactly. And I'll tell you this, the details are unfolding as we speak. I'm giving you everything as fast as I possibly can, but zero tolerance. This is the aftermath. You commit a crime in this county, we're coming for you.
Thanks, guys.
Tonight live here on Fox 4 News at 6, and we keep our live camera up to show you that vehicle. You can see it crunched up there, and the sheriff's patrol car pushed right into it. The sheriff used a term that might have got by you, but he said we pitted the vehicle. A lot of times they refer to the term as a pit maneuver. Basically, they box in that vehicle or set themselves up, basically sacrifice the patrol car, and sometimes even the deputy who's driving that car takes the risk to make sure the getaway car does not in fact get away, and that's exactly what happened. And as we show you the live look here on Fox 4 News at 6, you're seeing a vehicle that he says had a .40 caliber gun in it, and a 21-year-old suspect they now have in custody. He says that person has dozens of prior arrests. So just to give you a short recap, because the sheriff did a good job of explaining it twice, but it was a lot of information. So just to kind of narrow it all down for you, it started with a home invasion robbery. The sheriff's deputies showed up with their dogs out there to try to handle that scene. At the same time, there was a robbery at a construction site where where the victims were pistol whipped. And then as somebody took off in this getaway car, a resident of Lehigh Acres started to follow the car, which is not normally recommended, but the person did, and the sheriff's view, the right thing, calling the sheriff's office, giving a very specific description of this vehicle so sheriff's deputies could chase it down. You can see how the crash ended. The sheriff did allude to the fact that there's more than one suspect, but he only confirmed that one's in custody. If that changes, we will let you know as our coverage moves forward here on Fox 4 News at 6. We'll be right back right after this. We're staying on top of a breaking story in Lehigh Acres right now.
We just heard from Sheriff Carmine Marcino giving us an update. Fox 4's Keenan Scott is on scene with the latest right now. And Keenan, we know that the sheriff just said this started as a robbery home invasion.
Yeah, Shari, Patrick, as you can see here, this is the aftermath of what happened here tonight. A Lee sheriff vehicle actually pinning up a vehicle against a tree. This started off as a home invasion with people inside, and it actually took off in 4 different directions, 4 different simultaneous things happening, which ended up leading to this climax that you're seeing right now. The sheriff just speaking to Fox 4 and other media outlets about what happened here tonight. We're going to give you full coverage in the later shows about what exactly happened, how it all went down. We're getting more updates as it goes on, but to reiterate what the sheriff said in that press conference, it started off as a home invasion with people still inside before the victims, or before the perpetrators in a second crime were pistol whipped, and leading ultimately to what you're seeing right now. So we're going to give you more updates as the night goes on, but this is just a scene we wanted to illustrate for you here on Fox 4 at 6 to give you an update and to show you what's happening on the ground here. But for now, I'm reporting live in Lehigh Acres. I'm going to give you the latest updates later, coming at tonight at 10 and 11. Keenan Scott, Fox 4.